Hari Om, everybody. Welcome back. We'll get started. Om. 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 Ganana Antva Ganapati Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shunvannoti Dasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवते धीनामवित्यवत् ॐ गणेशाय नमः ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये वागीशाद्या सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्या स्युः तं नमामि गजाननम् वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणे विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिम् द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्य केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं यस्य सन्निधिं मात्रेण सर्वे शिष्याश्च सेवकाः कर्मक्षेत्रे प्रवर्तन्ते चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् Hari Om, everybody. Welcome back to our weekly Vedanta classes on Viveka Choodamani. We will get started with our Mangala Charana Shloka. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. After covering the topics of Vasana Chaya and Adhyasa Nivrutti, last week we saw a cautionary note from Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji to maintain a vigilant lifestyle, as these habitual tendencies can be detrimental in our spiritual progress. Just like how the sandalwood by nature has a divine fragrance, but when immersed in water, it gives a stinking, rotten smell. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji assured us, when we scrub our personality layers to get rid of the low and negative tendencies, false identities that we carry, scrubbing it with the right knowledge. And to the extent our mind becomes more and more focused on this inner journey, more and more introverted, the vasanas starts to thin down. As we do more contemplation through Vedantic meditation, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji assured us that the divinity within us will unfold and shines itself. You know, in the automotive industry, when we say, after all the necessary certifications of the motor vehicles and so on, is it road worthy, we say. And similarly, in the aircraft industry, when all the certifications are done, we say, is the aircraft flight worthy? Same way, we need to ascertain if my mind is meditation worthy. Is it free from all agitations? Is there a lot of inner turbulence in my mind that I cannot even take off in my meditation? In the selected verses we had, he gave us a few pointers on the contemplation with single pointed focus, replacing the tamasic tendencies, our lethargy, etc., with rajasic activity based tendencies to start with, effective self restraint, discipline, slowly enriching our mind with sattvic and serene qualities, giving it a broader vision to expand that mind to contemplate on the Mahavakya Vichara. The divinity in me is the divinity everywhere. Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. How long? The obvious question will be, how long one should practice these type of sadhanas? He said, Aham bhavasya dehesmin nishesha vilayavadi. Until this identification with the body persists, until this is completely rooted out, that aham bhava, that notion of me and mine is firmly rooted out, we need to continue these sadhanas. We also saw the cautionary note on pramada, negligence on this path. For gnanam to become drudha, firm, the nishta to become brahmanishta, he emphasized that pramada, this forgetfulness of our essential divine nature. We saw that reference from Sanat Sujatiya. This inadvertence, pramado mrutyurityaha bhagavan brahmanasutaha. It is equivalent to mrityu, death. Negligence on this path. We saw that extract from the teaching of Sanat Kumara, the mind-born son of Brahmaji, to King Dhritarashtra in the Mahabharata. We also saw the example of this rubber ball on a staircase. If the ball is not caught quickly as it is falling, we know how it gains momentum and it becomes impossible to catch. Same way, the small distractions of the mind, it starts to drip and drain our progress. The mind gets distracted as it turns outward. The fall gains so much momentum. He cautioned us that it becomes impossible to get back on track. Pramadata prachyuta keli kandukaha sopana panktau patito yata tata. Just like that rubber ball falling down the stair. In addition to all this, last week we also saw that continuous contemplation, nididhyasana, can be divided into two-stage process. Dharana, concentration with effort, holding on to that mind with focus, with effort on that one thought, to the exclusion of all other thoughts. Slowly, this continuous effort over a long period of time leads to the second phase called dhyana, where concentration and focus are steady, requires minimal effort. And we saw these examples where how dharana, similar to the cow being tied to a pole to prevent it from wandering around, and along with it, how it is ruminating on that green fodder that the cowboy has given. Similarly, the sadhaka's mind here at this phase is focused on that single thought, that I am Brahman. So dharana is concentration, dhyana is contemplation. So with this sustained nididhyasana, constant contemplation over a long period of time eventually will lead to samadhi, which simply means absorption or fully placing the mind. Savikalpa samadhi, absorption with division, vikalpa, savikalpa. Nirvikalpa samadhi, absorption without any division. And that's when we understood that this threefold distinction, this triputi, the meditator, dhyatru, the meditated, dhyeya, and the process of meditation is the third. In Savikalpa Samadhi, this triputi or threefold distinction between the meditated, the meditator, and the process of meditation exists. Whereas in Nirvikalpa, the absorption without any division, completely like the salt, when you salt doll, when you put in water, completely dissolves like that. This triputi, the meditator, the meditated, and the process of meditation, all these divisions have completely culminated into this total absorption. The triputi is gone, the distinction is gone. So let's quickly recap a few shlokas that we studied. I'm just cutting short a little bit. शान्तोदान्तः परमुपरतः क्षान्तियुक्तः समाधिम् कुर्वन् नित्यम् कलयति यतिः स्वस्य सर्वात्मभावम् तेना विद्यातिमिरजनिताः साधु दग्ध्वा विकल्पान् ब्रह्माकृत्या निवसति सुखम् निष्क्रियो निर्विकल्पः. This great soul who has realized the self in that constant permanent bliss. Brahma kritya nivasati sukham nishkriyo nirvikalpah. He lives in that constant awareness of Brahman. His mind is free from agitations. Therefore, he is shantah, relaxed and peaceful. Dantah, first line, self-controlled, disciplined. Parama uparatah, he is withdrawn from the sensory pursuits. Shanti yuktah, he is not bothered by these little pinpricks in life. He exhibits great level of titiksha, endurance. Kurvan nityam kalayati yatihi swasya sarvatma bhavam. The self in me is the self everywhere. Madatma sarva bhutatma. That sarvatma bhava. He lives in that blissful awareness of Brahman. (359) Sati sakto naro yati sadbhavam yekanisthaya कीटको भ्रमरं ध्यायन् भ्रमरत्वाय kalpate. Then we saw this yogi's concentration. It's compared to that kitaka, that worm, intensely concentrating through that hole on that wasp, Brahmara, and is transformed into the wasp. That metamorphosis, Brahmara Kita Nyaya. Tataiva yogi. Next shloka, next verse. Kriyantara saktimapasya kitako dhyayan yathalim hyalibhavamruchati. Tataiva yogi paramatmatattvam dhyatva samayati tadekanishthaya. Tadekanishthaya. तदैव yogi paramatma tattvam. Same way, this yogi meditating on this Paramatma Tattva with the single pointed devotion becomes Brahman. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. Then we saw in the 365th last week, Shrute Shatagunam Vidyat Mananam Mananadapi Nididhyasam Laksha Gunamanantam Nirvikalpakam. This reflection, this mananam, should be considered 100 times superior, and nididhyasana is considered exponentially superior, 100,000 times, he says, to mananam, and nididhyasana leading to nirvikalpam. Nirvikalpa samadhi is anantam, infinite times. So if nirvikalpa samadhi is our destination, how do we get there? Where do we begin? For that we start with verse number 368 today. Yogasya pratamadvaram Vangnirodho aparigraha. Vangnirodho aparigraha. Yogasya pratamadvaram Vangnirodho aparigraha. Nirasha cha niriha cha Nityamekanta shilata. One more time together. Yogasya prathamadvaram Vangnirodho aparigraha. Nirasha cha niriha cha Nityam ekanta shilata. Yogasya prathamadvaram. The first gateway to this is yoga, is vak nirodha, control of speech. This is the first one. Even Bhagavan Sri Krishna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita says in the 17th chapter, Vangmaya tapas, controlled speech. Then aparigraha, non-acceptance of possessions, non-attachment to possessions, and doing things without any expectations. Nirasha, no desires, not having any expectations from the world. They will give me this, they will give me that. Just do it for God's sake. Dasya buddhi, prasada buddhi. Then comes the fourth, an important one. Nityam ekanta shilata. Ekanta. How Puja Gurudev used to joke. If you cannot be with yourself, how can you expect others to tolerate you? So even in sadhana panchakam, this value is highlighted. It is not loneliness, it is ekanta, aloneness, solitude. He said, ekante sukham asyatam. Live joyously in solitude. This is not isolating yourself. In the midst of everything, that's solace, that's solitude. How this helps, he explains further in the next verse that we have chosen. Ekantasthitirindriyoparamane हेतुर्दमश्चेतसः एकान्तस्थितिरिन्द्रियोपरमणे हेतुर्दमश्चेतसः संरोधे करणं शमेन विलयम् संरोधे करणं शमेन विलयम् यायादहं वासना यायादहं वासना तेनानन्दरसानुभूतिरचला तेनानन्दरसानुभूतिरचला ब्राह्मी सदा योगिनः ब्राह्मी सदा योगिनः तस्माच्चित्तनिरोध एव सततम् कार्यः प्रयत्नो मुनेः तस्माच्चित्तनिरोध एव सततम् कार्यः प्रयत्नो मुनेः. One more time together. एकान्तस्थितिरिन्द्रियोपरमणे हेतुर्दमश्चेतसः संरोधे करणं शमेन विलयम् यायादहं वासना तेनानन्दरसानुभूतिरचला ब्राह्मी सदा योगिनः तस्माच्चित्तनिरोध एव सततम् कार्यः प्रयत्नो मुनेः. एकान्तस्थितिः, living in solitude. Indriya uparamane hetuhu. It helps in the control of sense organs. See how one leads to the other, to the destination. He gives a roadmap. Ekanta leads to control of sense organs, which is called then damaha. Indriya nigraha. Self-restraint. Intelligent self-restraint. Not denying. Intelligently restraining. Chetasaha samrodhe karanam helps in chitta nirodha, which results in shama. Chitta nirodha leads to shama, which results in yayadaham vasana, results in the elimination of aham vasana. Tena, because of this, Munehe, this yogi, will experience this Ananda Rasa Anubhuti. Ananda Rasa. He will experience this Brahmananda Rasa Anubhuti, this infinite bliss. So it all starts with Ekanta. Ekanta Sthiti, leading to Indriya Uparama, control of the senses, control of the mind, leading to the elimination of Aham Vasana, reduction and elimination, to Brahma Ananda Rasanubhuti. And moving to 384. Vishuddhamantakaranam swarupe विशुद्धम् अन्तःकरणम् स्वरूपे निवेश्य साक्षिण्यवबोधमात्रे निवेश्य साक्षिण्यवबोधमात्रे विशुद्धमन्तःकरणम् स्वरूपे निवेश्य साक्षिण्यवबोधमात्रे शनैः शनैः निश्चलतामुपानयन् शनैः शनैः निश्चलतामुपानयन् पूर्णं स्वमेवानुविलोकयेत्ततः पूर्णं स्वमेवानुविलोकयेत्ततः. One more time together. विशुद्धमन्तःकरणं स्वरूपे निवेश्य साक्षिण्यवबोधमात्रे शनैः शनैर्निश्चलतामुपानयन् पूर्णं स्वमेवानुविलोकयेत्ततः. By fixing this purified antahkarana, this inner equipment upon the self, niveshya sakshinyavabodhamatre, which is of the nature of that sakshi swarupa, that witness principle, and absolute knowledge. Shanaihi shanaihi, little by little, by bringing that mind to contemplate upon that Atman, which is of the nature of Sakshi Swarupa, Purnam Swamevanuvilokayet Tataha. This way, one must try to realize the self. Moving on to 399. Samahitayam sati chitta vrittau Samahitayam sati chitta vrittau Paratmani brahmani nirvikalpe Paratmani brahmani nirvikalpe Na drishyate kaschidayam vikalpaha न दृश्यते कश्चिदयं विकल्पः प्रजल्पमात्रः परिशिष्यते यतः. Together one more time. Samahitayam sati chitta vrittau paratmani brahmani nirvikalpe न दृश्यते कश्चिदयं विकल्पः प्रजल्पमात्रः परिशिष्यते यतः. When this functions of the mind, the associated thoughts, they've all merged into that Brahman. न दृश्यते कश्चिदयं विकल्पः. Then this phenomenal world is not perceived. Pranabandhanat linamanasam ekachintanat नाशमेत्यदः दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः चित्वदर्शनं तत्वदर्शनं. I don't even have to mention where it is from. This group knows. For those who join new, it is from Upadesha Sara from Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Similar idea. So from the watchtower of this supreme reality, the diversity, this pluralistic world, if at all, he says, prajalpamatra varishishyate yataha. When you are in that plane of that Paramatma Tattva, supreme reality, everything else is all mere talk. Prajalpamatra. As Pujya Gurudev used to say, meaningless prattle of words. I hope you are enjoying these meditative verses. Moving on to 409. Kimapi satata bodham kevalanandarupam. Kimapi satata bodham kevalanandarupam. Nirupamamativelam nityamuktam niriham. Nirupamamativelam nityamuktam niriham. Niravadhi gaganabham nishkalam nirvikalpam. Niravadhi gaganabham nishkalam nirvikalpam. Hrudi kalayati vidwan Brahmapurnam samadhau. One more time together. Kimapi satata bodham kevalanandarupam. Nirupamamativelam nityamuktam niriham. Niravadhi gaganabham nishkalam nirvikalpam. Hrudi kalayati vidwan Brahmapurnam samadhau. During this samadhi, what does this man of wisdom, steady wisdom, realize in his heart? Satata bodham kevalanandarupam. This essence of eternal knowledge, that is pure absolute bliss. Nirupamamati velam nityamuktam niriham. That which is incomparable. Nirupam. Ativelam. It transcends all limitations. Nityamuktam. That which is ever free. Niravadhi gaganabham. It is that limitless, vast, like gaganabham, like the space. Just it is an example. It's beyond time and space and causation. Just to mindset. That which is pure, nishkalam, nirvikalpam, no modifications. Brahmapurnam samadhau. That wise man experiences this complete and full Purnamada, full reality. Moving on to 410. These are meditative verses you can memorize if you prefer to. Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam Bhavanatita Bhavam. Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam Bhavanatita Bhavam. Samarasama Samanam Manasambandha Duram. Samarasama Samanam Manasambandha Duram. Nigama Vachana Siddham नित्यमस्मत्प्रसिद्धम् निगमवचनसिद्धम् नित्यमस्मत्प्रसिद्धम् हृदि कलयति विद्वान् ब्रह्मपूर्णम् समाधौ. One more time together. प्रकृति विकृति शून्यम् भावनातीत भावम् समरसमसमानम् मानसम्बन्धदूरम् निगमवचनसिद्धम् नित्यमस्मत्प्रसिद्धम् हृदि कलयति विद्वान् ब्रह्मपूर्णम् समाधौ. Hrudi kalayati vidwan. So this man of wisdom realizes through his deep contemplation in that state of samadhi, that infinite Brahman, which is Prakriti Vikriti Shunyam. It is devoid of matter and its modifications. It is a state beyond all intellectual comprehension. Bhavana atita abhav. Bhavanatita bhavam. Samarasam. It is that homogeneous experience. When Gurudev said that rasa, that essence, there is nothing comparable to it. Asamanam manasa sambandha duram. It is beyond the logical proof. Nigama vachana siddham. It is a direct experience corroborated in the scriptures. Nigama Shastra by the Upanishads. Nityamasmat prasiddham. It is ever known to us as self-awareness. One more similar continuation of that same thought process, thoughtless process, I must say. Ajara अजरममरमस्ताभाववस्तु स्वरूपम् अजरममरमस्ताभाववस्तु स्वरूपम् स्तिमितसलिलराशि प्रत्यमाख्याविहीनम् स्तिमितसलिलराशि प्रत्यमाख्याविहीनम् अजरममरमस्ताभाववस्तु स्वरूपम् स्तिमितसलिलराशि प्रत्यमाख्याविहीनम् शमितगुणविकारम् शाश्वतम् शान्तमेकम् शमितगुणविकारम् शाश्वतम् शान्तमेकम् हृदि कलयति विद्वान् ब्रह्मपूर्णम् समाधौ. One more time together. अजरममरमस्ताभाववस्तु स्वरूपम् स्तिमितसलिलराशि प्रत्यमाख्याविहीनम् शमितगुणविकारम् शाश्वतम् शान्तमेकम् हृदि कलयति विद्वान् ब्रह्मपूर्णम् समाधौ. हृदि कलयति विद्वान्. So this man of steady wisdom, through his deep contemplation in that state of samadhi, he realizes that infinite Brahman, the undecaying truth, ajaram, apakshya shunyam. Due to old age, jara is old age. We decay. Death follows. Jara, marana. But it is immortal. Ajara, amara. Amaram. No birth, no death. Asta bhava vastu swarupam. When we negate all the other things, it cannot be further negated. Brahman is that positive entity that cannot be further negated. The neti neti stops there. Stimita salila rashi. It is like this vast ocean where waves have subsided. A wave, imagine in your meditation, a waveless ocean. Stillness. Stabdi bhava. Prakyamakhya vihinam. It is nameless. It has no attributes of the gunas. Shamita guna vikaram. No modifications of the guna. And it is shashvatam. Eternal. Shantam. Devoid of all agitations of the mind, and that one and only ekam, ekameva dvitiyam, one without the second. All three verses, if you can memorize, that will be great. We'll move on to 427 now. Change of topic. Sthita pragno yatirayam yas sadanandamashnute. Sthitapragno yatirayam yassadanandamashnute brahmanyeva vilinatma nirvikaro vinishkriyah brahmanyeva vilinatma nirvikaro vinishkriyah. One more time together. Sthita pragno yatirayam yassadanandamashnute brahmanyeva vilinatma nirvikaro vinishkriyah. Here, Bhagavan Shankaracharya Ji uses the same term that Bhagavan Sri Krishna uses in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, Sthita Prajna. A man of steady wisdom, he has merged himself in Brahman. Brahmanye vavilinatma yatirayam yasadanandamashnute. This yati, this yogi, he revels in that pure bliss. Who is this Jivan Mukta Purusha? What is he liberated from? What does that expression Jivan Neva Mukti mean? Liberated while living mean. For that, we'll have to meet after our Thanksgiving break. We'll stop here and do the concluding prayers. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदम् पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् May all be happy, may all be healthy, may all see auspiciousness, may none suffer. Om peace, peace, peace. With that, I'll open it up for our interactive session. So please stay back if you can. And next week, after next week, we will meet in 2 weeks after the Thanksgiving break.